Okay, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a special episode of Why You Should Love. Well, all of them are special because you guys are joining me as per ever. Thank you very much for joining me once again. It's always a pleasure to see you guys joining me and having you guys join me on another episode of Why You Should Love. So, let's see what we're doing on Why You Should Love on. Well, to be fair, the series on my channel so far has been pretty popular, and I imagine you guys may have seen this coming, but today we're doing an Enchanted Arms Why You Should Love. Mainly due to the fact that the series has actually been insanely popular recently, and it is just incredible how popular it's been. And I'm actually so happy about that, because I wasn't actually planning on doing a Let's Play at first, but I was just, I was pretty happy with it, and it just sort of happened to do it, and it has been really popular. I'm amazed by that, and I'm thankful for every bit of ounce of support you guys have given me. Anyhow, let me show you a little thing about my little copy of Enchanted Arms. Now, as you guys can tell, hang on. It's really strange, as though, because if I just quickly turn this around, you can see there, guys, it's actually an American copy. It's like a my detector on my thing picked up Yuki's face. That's quite strange. But yeah, as you can tell, it's an American copy. But the weird thing is for some strange reason, the company gave me 2 sleeves for the games and 2 of these little paper things for the front. One of them being, because obviously it's a Canadian game, and what's it called? So obviously in Canada they speak heavily American and, well, English and French. So they give me a French version as well. But the strange thing is, in a majority of the time when you buy a game in Canada, let's talk one of them. That's great. They always either have they always basically have French and English on the thing. For some strange reason, they gave me 2 sleeves for the game. It doesn't really make that massive amount of sense to me. But yeah, as you guys can tell, if I just spin this around quickly, this one has French and English on it. Well, this is the normal kind of thing, and then this one just has English, which is quite weird. But I don't understand that properly. Maybe you guys can tell me if you guys know any more about why games have that, but I don't know. I thought it was really weird. I was like, fair enough. I was quite surprised when I found that. And the booklets, one of them's in black and white and one of them isn't. It's really weird. Isn't it like an illegal copy of the game, by the way? It's like a legit copy, so I won't worry about that part. Yeah, so I thought it was a bit unusual, and I was like, well, fair enough. Thought I'd just share that with you guys anyway. So, let's get this thing started, as I've kind of delayed this for a fair amount of time. Number 1, Enchanted Arms itself is probably one of the best turn-based games I've ever played. Like, it is very Final Fantasy-esque, as I've said before, very Dragon Quest-esque, very, like, usual kind of like turn-based kind of game. And it doesn't disappoint. It is a fantastic kind of turn-based game. It's very unique and very simplistic in what it plays as, and it is easy to get hold of and easy to play. And it doesn't take too much skill, which is quite a good thing for basic people like myself, simple-minded, that really have to sort of like, don't have to think about too much. It's literally kind of the same kind of thing with the strategy of the movement around. And yeah, to be fair, it's generally a good turn-based game, which is a good reason to love the game. Anyhow, let's move on to my second point. When it comes down to turn-based games, a lot like, say, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest and all that, I don't know exactly about Final Fantasy, but Dragon Quests and some of other turn-based games I've ever played, they can be quite confusing storylines. I've only ever played Dragon Quest Journey to the Cursed King, which is a very simple storyline, but some of the other plays I've seen of other turn-based games altogether, they normally have quite a complex and quite unusual storyline behind them, which you find quite a struggle to follow. Whereas this is just, it's an easy storyline to follow. It really is. And like the game itself is very simple, as in there's a simple storyline behind it. There's some like mysteries which you have to discover along the way. At this point, by the way, guys, I'm only 45% of the way through it, I do believe. So I may not know if the massive amount as I should. But yeah, so altogether it should be like a it is an easy to follow storyline. So I mean, you can play it and understand the storyline quite well, like without having to really overthink it or like strategize the storyline in front of you. Plan out the storyline in front of you, if you get what I mean. And yeah, I think that's a good reason to love the game, to be fair, because a lot of games do go to the complex route these days, and that's a good thing. This is quite simple. Anyhow, let's move on to my third point. When it comes down to games these days, a lot of games do kind of miss what actually makes a game different from other games. Games can obviously change via gameplay, genre, acting in it, like voice acting, the storyline, the graphics, the whole console, I guess, like Wii from Xbox or Xbox from PlayStation. Everything has different aspects to it, but some games miss what every game has in common, ignoring stuff like Wii Sports and iToy games. Character development. Character development is so important in games these days, but especially with games coming out of the barrel. Games such as coming out of the barrel, you know what I mean, coming out of the bucket or something like that. especially with games such as Last of Us coming out with fantastic fantastic character development, showing how Ellie's grown up alongside Joel, and how Joel's behaviour is differentiated due to the fact of how Ellie has grown up herself, and how he's changed his feelings towards her, and the way in such as Bioshock Infinite, the clash between the way in which Elizabeth has to react around what Booker's behaviour, and Booker has to develop this idea of what on earth is going on in Colombia. And then there's games such as even like the original Bioshock. I mean, the first Bioshock game, the Jack didn't talk. Jack wasn't the main focus, but the character development behind Tenenbaum and Andrew Ryan. Sorry, couldn't figure the name then. But Andrew Ryan and Fontaine, fantastic character development. It showed the trickery behind Fontaine. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but that's all I'll say. Andrew Ryan, you find out truly who he is and how deceiving he truly is. Character development is so important, and this game does do it well. It is surprising how well it does well. Although the dialogue isn't always fantastic, I'll give you that. The game itself does develop characters excessively well. The game is just, it's a good game to play like that, because the fact of the, you understand who Atsuma is. Atsuma's the main character, by the way. Atsuma's the main character, and you understand who he is, where he stands in the storyline, what he thinks, what he's gonna think about the situations. Not always. Sometimes he does stupid things, which is just silly, and sometimes that's right his fault. But it is a goodly developed character altogether. I mean, the characters are fantastic. I mean, you do feel kind of connected to the characters. Maybe not quite as much as you do Ellie and Joel and Elizabeth from other games, but you do feel a connection between you and the character altogether, and you feel who your favourite ones are, and who you think are the most sane ones, most stupid ones, the ones that do the most right decisions. I think that's a good point about the game. For some games these days do miss that kind of aspect, and it does it well. It doesn't do it badly, doesn't do it fantastic, but it does it good enough to make it a decent game in that aspect. So that's my third reason as to why you should love. Let's move on to my fourth one. As I said before, this game is pretty simplistic. The game itself is not overly hard. When it came to me playing Dragon Quest Journey of the Cursed King back when I was younger, it was one of the hardest games I will ever play in my life. If you guys have played this game, let's start asking people that have actually played Dragon Quest Journey of the Cursed King, when it came to the Dormagus fight, the very first time one of the time you face him, and he has about 3 different transformations before you can finally kill him. When I finished that boss off, that was the happiest I've ever felt in my life, because I was so achieved at that game. That's obviously a good thing about some other hard turn-based games, making them seem like it's very achieving. Now this game isn't too hard, which I think is a good, in a sense, I view this game as a good stepping stone. Say if you had a kid, and it sounds really, really weird, but if you had like a kid or someone who has never played turn-based games before and wants to get into them, this would be a good suggestion. This would be something which people could be interested in. Like they could they could play this. Hey, watch my Let's Play. They could play this. It'd be so easy to do because the fact that you move the pieces like chess pieces, but it's not like a specific place, and then you attack. And it's nothing. No one really has any strong weaknesses against other stuff. You can see it. It's obvious what people are weak against and what people aren't. So it's clear it's a good game in that sense of the fact that it's an easy, simple game to play. Let's move on to my 5th point. So, in general, the game is a fun game. The game has different kind of aspects to it, has mini games in it which are pretty awesome, as you guys did see. I love that pizza mini game. The game itself is actually fun. It's a really fun game to play. It has many mini games, has many different gameplay aspects, it has different character development, as I said before, and it just pushes together to make a fantastic game. It's a cool little game. And although its popularity was quite small, the game itself deserved more of a praise in a sense, due to the fact that it was quite original. Well, maybe not the most original game, as it obviously did kind of like spiral off a lot of other games, but it was still a decent game, and I think it did. It's a shame it didn't get the highlight it did deserve. So, you know. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Why You Should Love. I've been TheLonesomeRavidor. Once again, you guys are beautiful as per ever. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you check out my Let's Play of Enchanted Arms. It's a fantastic Let's Play. I'm having quite fun with it so far. I do believe we're on about part 48 so far. I don't know why I put the accent on. But yeah, part 48 so far, I do believe, unless the date is currently the 18th of the 3rd. Haven't really been playing it too much recently, mainly due to the fact I've been busy as balls trying to record stuff for my holiday coming up. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I've been TheLonesomeRavidor. Once again, you guys are beautiful as per ever, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out! As a little sub note, I happen to be staring at the back of the package. Look at this guy with the mustache just there. Oh, I miss your mustache. Focus.